Mr. Presley, how can I help you?
Elvis Presley was once tasked with spying on John Lennon by then U.S. President Richard Nixon, according to legendary music presenter and DJ whispering Bob Harris.
Apathy that all the youth have.
In a new interview on the Raconteurs podcast, Harris spoke of how Nixon loathed the Beatles star due to his public and vicious criticism of the Vietnam War. During the interview with hosts Gary Kemp and Guy Pratt, Harris claimed that Nixon recruited Presley, who was a great friend of the late president, to spy on Lennon, adding that if Lennon ever left the United States during Nixon's tenure, he wouldn't be allowed back in. It sounded like it was almost a figment of Lennon's imagination when he was saying, "My phone was tapped. I get followed everywhere." But it was true. He really did. Harris said Nixon was out to get him, and that's why John was stuck in New York, or stuck in the States. He knew were he to come back to the UK, he'd never get back into America again, not while Nixon was in the White House. Harris added, Nixon was a great friend of Elvis, and vice versa. Nixon had instructed Elvis to gather as much information about John Lennon as he possibly could. Nixon regarded Lennon as a counterculture enemy, and during his time as president between 1969 to 1974, tried to have Lennon deported from the United States. Harris added that it was hate at first sight when Lennon and Presley met in the mid-1960s, and that they then struck up a resentful rivalry. For John, it was a very disillusioning moment because he loved Elvis's records. So, to discover he was a right-wing Southern bigot was a big shock, Harris told the podcast hosts. Equally, Elvis saw Lennon as being this upstart Liverpudlian know-it-all who'd taken his crown. He usurped Elvis, and he was resentful as hell.